TPUSA is spending millions on a fake halftime show because they're terrified of a Puerto Rican pop star. Let that sink in. Erika Kirk and the good old boys at Turning Point USA decided to host their own anti-Super Bowl halftime show, the All-American halftime show, to be aired on some of America's most tragic networks, OAN, TBN, and The Daily Wire, a curated media cesspool of moral panic and reactionary outrage. And all of this because of one man, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is a United States citizen of Puerto Rico who started making waves in 2016 with flirty Latin music blended with pop, reggaeton, and hip-hop flair. By 2018, he released his debut album, X100 Pre. Since then, his music has appeared in films, he's hosted and performed on Saturday Night Live, won multiple Grammys, and now headlines the Super Bowl halftime show. So what about Bad Bunny that caused such a stir when the NFL announced him as a headliner? Why was the backlash so immediate? Was it because he stood up for Alexa Luciano, a woman murdered for being transgender? Was it because he spoke out about the lack of humanitarian support for Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria? Was it because he pushes boundaries, challenging rigid gender norms through fashion, performance, and self-expression? Is it because he spoke out about ICE?
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say ICE out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love.
For the stiff, joyless ideologues at TPUSA and their shadowy donor class, the answer is all of the above. Bad Bunny is proudly Puerto Rican, proud of his language, proud of his culture, proud of his flamboyance. He embodies freedom of expression, exploration, and identity, everything TPUSA does not want modeled for the next generation. And here's why the timing feels super icky to me. Charlie Kirk was murdered on September 9th. His memorial was held on September 21st. And barely 2 weeks later, TPUSA announced the All-American halftime show, their third major event after a rapid, almost half-hearted investigation into his murder case. As if once Charlie was gone, the shackles were released and the monster was reanimated. The nonprofit Maga think tank lurched even harder to the right, where Charlie had reportedly been pulling back from certain high-profile donors and distancing himself from blind allegiance to Israel, writing a letter to Netanyahu only months before. TPUSA's course correction after his death was swift and unmistakable. But the TPUSA party bus rolls on. I hear that theme music. We like to party. We like to party. We like to party. We like to party. In just days, they'll try, and that word is doing an awful lot of work here, try to compete with the Seattle Seahawks versus New England Patriots halftime show featuring Bad Bunny, Green Day, Charlie Puth, by offering their own alternative, Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett. It's okay, I had to look them up too. Let's be clear, they're not choosing people because of talent. They're aligning with those already in the same ideological call. I'm not saying whether or not these people are talented. Just saying. From disgraced truth tellers to pastors accused of covering up abuse to influencers who wrap Christian nationalism in lifestyle branding, TPUSA consistently chooses voices that reinforce their worldview. It's packaged in sermons, flashy music, entertainment, but shows a lack of moral clarity. The show would be more aptly titled the All-American Copium Show. They need reassurance and comfort to reinforce their beliefs. And as if the symbolism weren't bleak enough, ICE has announced it plans to be present at the Super Bowl. We've discussed how ICE and TPUSA are working together to make the Gestapo's image palatable. I'll try to remember to tag the video here, or at least at the end. Anyway, what's typically a family gathering now comes with the threat of federal enforcement, imitation, and it's all gussied up as patriotism. TPUSA isn't offering an alternative halftime show, y'all. This is a several $million temper tantrum, stomping their feet, angry they have to share their toys or this country, while Erika Kirk and company rub elbows with criminals and bigots. Bad Bunny's only crime was being proud, brown, loud, and impossible to ignore. So who does TPUSA stand with? Let's breeze through the acts of this snowflake fest, shall we? I'd assume Kid Rock is the headliner because he's the perfect symbol of MAGA hypocrisy. He built his brand on outlaw cosplay. I don't like boots. I own guns. I'm a rebel. I stand up for my Second Amendment rights. Right up until Trump says no gun at demonstrations, and suddenly the two-way people went silent. Their performance is exhausting. And I'm not talking about the one on stage, especially when reports indicate he employed undocumented immigrants on his own properties only to demonize immigrants publicly. Kid Rock is well known for lyrics like, "I like them underage." See, some say that's statutory. "You can suck my dick or you can suck my balls. I got bitches by the dozens." His relevance now exists almost exclusively inside a shrinking MAGA feedback loop. Pure peak MAGA. Brantley Gilbert delivers country rock masculinity with a rap edge. Very patriots in the streets, bootlicker in the sheets. Militarized masculinity, law and order, dress up, but unwavering loyalty to people who openly break the law. That contradiction might be part of his brand. I don't know. Lee Brice offers this soft, focused ballad version of Christian nationalism. He literally sang a song for Charlie Kirk called "When the Kingdom Comes." And we all know what that means when the kingdom comes. In their worldview, it's Armageddon-flavored normalization. You can spare me with all that. Gabby Barrett, finally. She functions as the clean, all-American, wholesome aesthetic. She's Christian branding, but silences accountability. She's the cherry on top of the shit cake. Marketable, though, for real. I can give them that. I can give people props where they deserve them. She goes from winning American Idol to becoming an idol of government hedging for sickos. Noise. Whether or not there are more guests, I don't know. But another reminder is that they align themselves with people like Greg Laurie and Russell Brand. Greg Laurie is the pastor who has been charged for his handling of child abuse and trafficking in a Romanian orphanage that his church ran. It's really sick and twisted stuff too. And Russell Brand, he was once an anti-corporate provocateur, and now his reinvention is grievance-driven, conspiracy adjacent, Christian crusader, convenient pivot and flip after facing multiple sexual assault allegations, some of which just recently dropped in December. But in TPUSA's worldview, that kind of pivot is part of their resume, a perfect fit for their movement. As far as Erika's employment at Corcoran Group, the same one Epstein worked for, makes me feel like there are far more behind-the-scenes connections that haven't been revealed yet. Is the light getting brighter? I'm going to wrap it up here, folks. These figures all prop up the same machine. They defend the administration, excuse ICE abuses, ignore the largest transfer of wealth to the elite, and propagate misinformation about immigrants and other marginalized communities. But they tell you all the harm is God's way. They claim they are about states' rights and law and order, but prostrate themselves the moment their cult leader snaps his fingers. They happily hand their personal information to foreign influences like Israel. If Darvo were a person, it would be Donald Trump. Darvo Trump. That has a ring to it. Now, if you know me, then you'd know that I'm not necessarily an NFL fan, especially after their pearl clutching over a man kneeling during the national anthem. But boycotting the Super Bowl because rhythmic music offends you, because you're used to novelty acts like Kid Rock, it's pretty damn shallow. I kind of think they're not fun at parties. Is there anything that doesn't offend them? That list probably is much shorter. Which pretty much proves the in-group or the cult of people they choose to stand beside at the All-American halftime show makes it look more like a confession than a protest. With that, I'm going to close up shop. Let me know if you will be watching the Super Bowl or TPUSA or neither. If you think I didn't annoy you too much, maybe you want to give me a sub and test that theory. You won't know until you try. I'm trying to make it to 10K subs before the summer. So help me out if you can. It really does improve the algorithm. I'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, curiosity cured the cat.